We did it. We finished the story, guys. What is going on? It's me, Izzy, and welcome to the weekly poll list. It's been 2 weeks. Thank you first and foremost to everybody who gave your thoughts and prayers while me and my family were dealing with death in the family. My uncle, who recently passed away, was dealing with a battle of 13 years of cancer. So we wanted to celebrate and remember him during that time. Thank you, everybody who was there. So now that we put that away from us, let's go ahead and bring out today's guest. You guys know really well. He is out from UK, but before we do that, we gotta get a nice little introduction for him.
Today we embark on a journey to discover the captivating world of Dr. Von Hoot from the spiral dimension, known to many as DVH, a lover of all things with a penchant for the peculiar and the absurd. DVH adores delving into the worlds of comics and wrestling, from the intricate comic storylines to the electrifying drama of the ring. DVH's passion knows no bounds. When the moon rises high, DVH isn't just about comics and wrestling. He's known to break out some peculiar dance moves. Alongside Badger the Luchador lies a creature of both cunning intellect and sharp wit, ready to face any challenge. As the sun sets, we bid adieu to Dr. Von Hoot from the spiral dimension. We're left with but one sentiment echoing beyond. Hoot, Hoot, Hoot.
Badger, where did Captain Hook get his hook from? A second-hand store.
What is up, DVH?
Evening, sir.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great, mate. It's a pleasure. I've been wanting to do this for ages.
And we picked the perfect day, in all fairness, because comics and wrestling is what today is going to be.
Hang on, Izzy. I've got to stop you for a second.
Go for it.
Did you hear the music too? Because
no,
the intro
music
is still playing.
Oh, really?
Now. Yeah, I can barely hear you.
You know what's so funny? I can't hear it. For some reason, I can't hear it, so I didn't even know it was still on. So good. Gone?
There we go.
Yeah, I wasn't hearing it. That was I guess StreamYard is doing something. I wasn't able to hear it. So thank you for catching that. Or else it would have been playing. The only way I knew it was playing is because on my phone, I was like, is this thing playing? So when I went to the phone to check it out, it was like, oh, it was playing. So there you have it. Anyway, back to where we were going. What a weekend we had.
Oh, it was epic.
Overall opinion. Yeah. We're gonna dive in later, but overall opinion.
I'd say 2 thumbs up. Yeah, like it was very solid. Yeah, all the way through. Mm-hmm. Very entertaining both nights, I found.
Night 1 or night 2?
I think night 2 was probably slightly stronger, but they were both really entertaining. So,
and usually, since we've been doing these 2-night WrestleManias, the first night has always ended up being a better night. However, I think in this particular instance, they smartened up and they led into night 2 with night 1.
Well, the funny thing is that I was more interested in most of the matches on night 1. Mm-hmm. And maybe I hyped myself a bit too much for that. Mm-hmm. Whereas I wasn't expecting as much for the second. So could be that. Have we lost Izzy? Oh, you back?
Sorry, I ended up having some kind of internet. Yeah. Why is it my day's always the same thing? I'm having great stream. Everything is fine. When I go live, that's when my internet goes cracky.
Who knows?
You know what I'm saying? Anyway, let's go ahead and say what's up to the guys in the chat.
Yeah.
Starting with Las Cruces. Of course, if he ain't first, you're not Las Cruces.
Every stream, every single one.
Oh my goodness, he's always on point. But number 2, from South Carolina, Brian LCS, and Brian LCS is throwing in the Izzy. Can't you see? Sometimes your videos just hypnotize me. But Las Cruces made his dramatic return with a whoop. All right, and there goes Larry Green Machine with like number 1. I didn't take a nap this time, so I wouldn't miss the live. And of course, we got our good pal Scotty Vaughn, who is going to have an amazing show right after this one. So we're gonna do what we can because
do you know who's on with him?
So yes, I do, in fact. And let's go ahead and show you that list. So today's a big day in Monday Night Lineup. So we got my show, which is going on right now. Then afterwards, we're going to have Scotty Vaughn with Colossus Collector. He's going to be his guest. That's going to be awesome. And then Geek Out with Roscoe. It's a big night for Between the Lines. David Nakayama. You heard me right, guys. It's David. David Nakayama will be at Roscoe's with Roscoe in Between the Lines. Also 22 alternative comics, the top 10 alternative for 22, as well as Cup of Comics at 10 o'clock Eastern. All these are Eastern times, so it's gonna be a packed night. You know what I mean? So all that, and we got the Raw after WrestleMania, which I'm always looking
that's
for.
true. Yeah.
So it's gonna be one hell of a night. So let's go back to the comments and take a look at who else is in the house. We got ComicVerse in the house, 3-month membership. That's right. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm back. Rats. Kenneth Bird also in the house. Somebody being omnipresent in the house. DVH. Is there. I'm scrolling down. Philtastic Comics and Art lurking while making dinner. That's the thing. You can have nice dinner while you're watching the show. And ComicVerse said it. Tone. WrestleMania weekend was awesome. We got DJ Links. Dude, this weekend I got a chance to hang out with DJ Links. Got a chance to hang out with Cliff, Rich in Comics Cops Collectibles, and a whole bunch of people from the community that we, near local. We went to King Con. There was a fantastic show. We had a blast. I don't know if you had a chance to catch Comic Cats Collectibles video.
I saw your live stream, and I think you should have Cliff follow you around all the time, commentating on everything you do.
So,
be amazing.
So funny you should say that. So today I actually had a conversation with Cliff, and we were talking the potentials of doing future stuff together. So we're gonna be doing stuff.
I'm there for
it. There's a chemistry there. There's something we have to, So looking forward to that one. But again, if you guys miss it, this the King Kong show. It's out now. I'm not going to do a poll or anything like that show. So the live is out now from King Kong. It was so much fun. That video. And then the best part about it is that as you watch the video, you see the people, the vendors that were there, and they're just listening to Cliff and me just ratting. And they're just dying. Like, because Cliff, like, I'm throwing the softballs, right? I'm throwing them, and he's like swinging them out. You know what I mean? So there was definitely a nice atmosphere there. So that was good. Also got a chance to hang out with Rich. I gave him some books, and you could see what books they are if you look at his show. If you go to Rich's show, it's Cleaning and Pressing Comics. Yes, look for the one with my face in it, and you're gonna be shocked to see some of the books that I gave him for the it's some big boy books. Yeah, it's a nice 10-minute. It's an evaluation video. So right now, as you watch the video, you're just seeing the evaluation of the book. So he's gonna have more parts to the video. But when you see the books that I gave him, you're gonna be like, wow, that's trust. So I do trust him.
Yeah, right there.
So there's definitely something going on there. So that was great. All right, let's see who else is in the house. So we got DJ Links, right? That Del Auto Hawk is fuego. Yeah, I agree. Beckerman is in the house. What's up, Beckerman? Ryan Riley as well. What'd it be like? All right. Yes, I was frozen, but now I'm found. Whatever. So I don't know. It's internet. All right. This is what happens, right? 6:30, my internet goes bad. And who goes figures?
It happens.
The Adventurous Joe, Evening Rat Packers. Joffrey Casco's also in the house. What's up going on, Joffrey? Daniel Carpenter. The Rat Pat's in the house, man. Chris, my boy, Chris. I have not seen Chris in like ages. What's going on, Chris? He's a guy I used to work with back in the day. Chris, you got to let me know where you at now. So let me know where you at. What's going on? Larry Green Machine, also member for 11 months. Wow, dude, it's been that long already.
Yeah.
And Freddie Gaggle, awesome as well. We'll try to do some stuff with Freddie as well. And of course, it just wouldn't be a good show without Taylor Windle spitting in the background, correcting my enunciation, because that's going to be the fun part of it.
T-Dub is one of the most valuable contributors to the chat for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
so we're going to have a blast. You ready to talk about comics before we start talking about wrestling?
Yeah, whatever way around you want to do it.
Let's do the comics. All right, let's find out what's trending. All right, here we are. We got the trending 20 books from Key Collector. Unfortunately, we got to start off with a low.
Yeah.
We have, obviously, this book is hot right now with the unfortunate passing of Ed Piskor. How familiar were you with his work, with Cartoonist Kayfabe and the stuff he was doing?
I did watch Cartoonist Kayfabe. I think that's probably the most familiar I am with his work, if you see what I mean. I didn't watch all of it. It was just every now and again, anything that sort of tickled me, I put on. They were super informative, like really, really insightful. I've got that Red Room, but I never read it. I never got around to it. And it sort of feels a bit ghoulish that it suddenly shot up. I guess people want...
Oh no, but that's normal. That happens all the time. Whenever there's a passing of a creator, regardless of the reasoning behind the passing, there's always an uptick in their books. So it's common. It's a common thing. And I think with Red Room, which is probably one of the popular ones he's done, certainly
one of the most notorious.
We're definitely not making fun of this. DJ Links, I remember DJ was talking a lot about Red Room. He really enjoyed Red Room. So, it's nice that we pay honor to them by purchasing their books. I think that's always a nice little gesture that we do in the community when someone passes away. Let's go pick up some of their stuff because we want to know a little bit more about that stuff. You know what I mean? And I think that's the case with this one. I don't know. I know exactly what I've been told and I've heard what happened. I don't want to go into details about that, but the reality of it is that, it's just crazy that this even says it in the cover, something that it almost feels like it's foreshadowing. If you look at the cover, it almost feels like it's foreshadowing what's happening with him. But, we wish his family, our prayers and our thoughts for those.
I think that's the most important thing to remember. It's not about Ed. It's about the people that he left behind.
Exactly.
Right now, because the sympathy he doesn't need it anymore.
Exactly. So, and everybody's of the opinion of everything, and I personally don't care right now. You know what I mean? At the moment, what it is, what it is.
Irrelevant now. Like the people that he left behind are the ones that matter.
Exactly. On to a different, lighter subject.
Yeah. Although the way some people talk about it, you wouldn't think it was
light, right?
Yeah.
We got Earth X number 12. This book came out in 2000. I remember this book like it was yesterday, which is funny because a lot of people don't know about Earth X. So there was Earth X, then Universe X, then Paradise X. So there was but it was all stemming from Wizard World. So it all came from Wizards Comics, where Wizard asked Alex Ross to come up with his rendition of what Kingdom Come would look like in the Marvel universe. And thus, he came up with the concept of Earth X, and it was so popular that Marvel went ahead and said, you know what? Do it. And they did it. And this is the 12th issue of that series. But that's not why this book is in this list. It has nothing to do with people's love for Earth X. It has everything to do because we just got word that we have ourselves a new Silver Surfer. And yes, it was a woman, but no, it's not Norrin Rad. Thoughts?
I really don't care. Honestly, like Silver Surfer's never been a massive deal to me.
Yeah.
Like I'm like I do want Norrin Rad, to be clear, but I also don't care that there's a female. Like it doesn't make any difference to me. Like,
but it's not just any female. And what's going on, Steven? Welcome to the show. It's not just any female. That's the catch here. It's Shanna Bal, his woman. No, that's his, as he will put it, his beloved. So apparently we got this casting of Julia Garner as Silver Surfer, but Shanna Bal as Shanna Bal. So this is technically her first appearance, as a surfer. Obviously, her first appearance goes all the way back to Silver Surfer #1. And there's other books that we're going to actually see later in this list that's in regards to her being a hero of Galactus. So it's starting to sound more and more like we're going to get an alternate reality here, an alternate universe. There's a lot of rumors that this will not be a 616 universe, which is more interesting to me.
I mean, if you say so. I'm sick of multiverses, honestly. I want a simple story that's well written. Let's do that.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can pull off a multiverse that's well written,
so far it hasn't really worked.
Yeah, exactly. That's sort of my point.
But there are discussions that a lot of the stuff we've been seeing for these last phases of the MCU, are not necessarily 616 universe. For example, the Eternals may not be 616. Moon Knight may not be 616. And those particular stories are stemming from a different universe, which kind of makes sense how they're doing it, if that's exactly the case, right? So we got here, I'm guessing they're going to use multiverse to explain why. Yeah, exactly. But one of the things they did was there was I'm trying to remember what it was, but there was they did a poster of Johnny Storm for April 4th, and in the poster there's a QR code. That QR code will lead you into a website, and that website also led you to another website which told you the types of books to read to get ready for Fantastic Four. And what they were was 47, 48, 49. They threw in Earth X into the mix. So it's very interesting where they're coming up. And I see, talking about Norrin Rad, there he goes. He's right there, Rad Arts and Comics. So we'll see where this takes us. I'm happy to have my copy. In fact, I got the entire run of everything that's Earth X related. I have all of it.
Is it good?
It's good. It's good. It's been a long time.
The source material is good. That's nice.
The source material is good. It's so if you recall in Kingdom Come, the character that was kind of the main character was that priest. The priest. And in this one, it's Machine Man.
Right.
So he's the character that is kind of like the character you're following along in this story. Now, again, this is 2000, so it's been well over 20 years since I read it, so I can't even tell you anything. But if you look, what you don't notice, and if as you're looking at this image, you will see that there's some Celestials in the background, but that old man in the background, that's Iron Man, that's Tony Stark. So it's a very interesting story, but it's worth checking out. So it's definitely, I'm sure you could get it in not Comixology anymore, but you know what I mean.
Marvel It'll be on the app. I've got the Marvel app, so
yeah,
I do read it if I wish.
I do too, and I rarely read it.
Yeah, so do I. But that says more about Marvel, to be honest.
It's more about just me getting a chance to read a comic book like I normally did. Again, we're back to Ed Piskor with X-Men Grand Design #1. Again, another book that he wrote. This is doing more of a history of X-Men. So, okay, am I back? I just keep on freezing. What's going on here?
You're back.
Okay, where did I leave off?
Just started talking about it. So
yeah, so it's dealing. He's dealt with the history of the X-Men, a retelling of the X-Men. And, you know, I think that's part of why he was so good with cartoonist kayfabe, is that he's definitely was a historian.
Yeah.
So that's part of it, and that's why he was able to do grand design. I see Roscoe's in the house. What's going on, Roscoe? Dude, you're gonna have a great show, my man. I'm looking forward to
DNA,
watching that one.
Awesome.
More importantly, I want to see what DNA is gonna be drawing. That's my curiosity. So, and there we go. We got Rich for Comic Cats Collectible. Rich, we were just talking about your video, so make sure we get a chance to do that. I'm gonna see if I can get you in a wrench, so you could post that video up yourself. So we could do that. So as we're talking about grand design, again, another book that is part of that. Now here's the book that kind of stands out from this list. This is from Vault Comics. This is goes back to 2019, and it's the comic called Heist, which is set in a planet that's called Heist. And it's the typical, this story has been, optioned. So people are looking for the story. I know nothing of this book. Have you ever heard this book at all? Because I haven't.
No, not at all. But like Vault's sort of a bit out of my wheelhouse. I haven't read much Vault stuff, so it's interesting that it's picking up steam now. Is there like movement on the production or something?
It's a typical, it's been optioned, so therefore, being that it's optioned, now we gotta pick up people who are buying books. It's a typical effect, cause and effect.
Yeah, like I just assumed it was optioned a while ago rather than right now. Yeah. Okay, so that makes sense.
Honestly, I couldn't tell you. I wouldn't be able to tell you because this is the first time I see this book in this list at all. So it's hard for me to tell you. Yeah, this is a dumb spec book. I'm with Taylor. So it is what it is. That's how I look at it.
As a spec, it's a long shot, this one.
Oh yeah, because it's still an option. Doesn't mean it's going to actually happen. You know what I mean? So those are some of the things that you do it. Hey, look what we got here. We got ourselves a new member. Welcome, Agent Al. How do you say that name? Almadon. Really? Gaming. So congratulations. So
Agent Almedia, I would say.
Almedia, CTU, Almedia. Gaming. Welcome. As always, we gotta welcome you to the Rat Pack. So there you go. Welcome to the Rat Pack. Nice to have you. Welcome. All right. So hit me up on IG and I could start beginning to send you something. So, all right. So the Heist. All right. Worth checking out. All right. Now back to our Silver Surfer watch.
This is fairly self-explanatory, is it not?
It is. But you know what always surprises me about this book? How inexpensive it really is. You're talking about a premiere issue. You're talking about, it's not his first appearance, of course.
That's why, isn't it? Like that's why it's not. But at the same time, it is iconic, and it does seem a bit cheap, honestly. Like in low grade, I could pick one up, which always makes me feel like that's weird.
If you pick up, they're telling you a low grade of this book is $180. Yeah. That's like a no-brainer to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
If I see one, I'll get one at that price.
Right? Exactly. Like it went for $100 in my shop 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Like seriously.
Yeah, that's
this
crazy.
This is a book. Yeah, it's no, amazing fantasy or anything like that. But even in that case, when you look at Amazing Fantasy, right? Amazing Fantasy is up here on the echelon, right? And then you got Amazing Spider-Man really slightly below it, but it still has that prestige to it with Amazing Spider-Man. Everybody wants Amazing Spider-Man number one, right?
Yeah.
When it comes to Silver Surfer, Silver Surfer's he's a niche character. Not everybody's crazy about Silver Surfer like that. But I don't see people say, "Oh, we hate Silver Surfer." I've never heard anybody saying they dislike.
I feel Surfer. Like he's not quite an A-lister. I think that's the only.
And that's where I beg to differ. I think he's more of an A-lister than most other characters. When it comes to the cosmic world.
Yeah, Yeah, I suppose. And I suppose that is a big deal in Marvel. It's just not my cup of tea. So, yeah.
There's just characters like that. So, if you find this book out there in the wild at a really good price, I would grab it, man. It's guaranteed to always hold its value at least. You know what I mean? And the Silver Surfer, man, at John Buscema. But this, of course, is the first appearance of Shanna Bal, so that's really the reason why. Yeah, Silver Surfer welded Infinity Gauntlet. Well, that was the What If story, which I love that story. I read that story years ago. I have my copy, so it's fantastic. Yeah, definitely worth checking it out. He had his own cartoon, for God's sakes.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. So, and it was done in a Kirby style, which was cool. All right, back to some more Shanna Bal, and that is What If 37. This one is the sleeper right now because one, it's a what if, right? It is her as a herald of Galactus, but not as a Silver Surfer. So she's Starglow in this story.
That strikes me as odd that this one of the many books that she's in is like, what are they specking on here exactly?
They're just specking on her as a herald. It's the same. It's the same thing as other what ifs, like the first Jane Foster Thor, where it was first founded in What If. It's not the same story, but it was. This one is very inexpensive. Like you could still grab this online for $5. Yeah, I checked it out. It's still available for $5. A lot of people are selling it for $5. Its cover doesn't really it's not a really appealing cover because it's Beast and the Thing rather than Silver Surfer. He's in the bottom, and it's more of a Silver Surfer story than it is a Shanna Bal story. But it's definitely gaining some momentum. It is considered a hot book right now. All right, and now we're going back to this one. This is the one I don't like because this is not Shanna Bal. This is just a female Silver Surfer. Which is Juno, in a book that no one cared for, no one bought, no one got.
Well, I guess the logic is that they might pull from the various different incarnations of female Silver Surfers. So it sort of makes sense, but I wouldn't bother.
Yeah, if I see it in the wild, I haven't. Believe it or not, I haven't seen this book. It was in King Kong, and I didn't see it. If I would have saw it at a very inexpensive price, I probably would have picked it up, but I didn't see it there. I saw some other better stuff, though. All right, we're back to this one. I know this TW was talking a little bit about this one, Hip Hop Family Tree. This is, again, a story of music culture in my neck of the woods, the Bronx.
Yeah. I've always been really annoyed I never read this. And I still could. I mean, it's still there. It's just I'm less likely to now just because of what happened with him.
Yeah.
But I always thought this was probably pretty cool.
It is.
Look at it.
Coolest comic magazine in the universe. Stealing that tagline. Cool. So, and then, all right, now here's the other side of the gamut. Geiger.
Hells yeah.
80-page giant #1. This is the first appearance of Red Coat from the Ghost Machine universe.
Oh, yes.
Is Red Coat the most popular right now?
I think right now it probably is.
Why
although,
is that?
To be fair, people like Rook as well. Like, I think the only reason Geiger isn't right now is because we've had Geiger for so long, so that we're all very comfortable with Geiger the character, and they really it hasn't moved on an awful lot.
What about Junkyard Joe? Junkyard
Joe, amazing as well, but he's been sort of left behind at the moment. They're bringing him back. I know they are, but it's as of this week, the hot characters are Rook and Redcoat.
Yeah,
and rightly so. Redcoat, I wasn't that interested in going in, but then they gave me a cult, and they gave me superpowers and mystical madness. And he's a lovable rogue as well. You gotta love that. Because if he was annoying, then I'd have been that book, because it really hinges on him being just nice enough to be around, even though he's sort of a goof,
Yeah. Well, just to let everybody know, we are going to do today's giveaway. It was originally supposed to have been last week's giveaway, but because of what I was dealing with, I just canceled the show. So I'm going to give away the connecting covers, Brooke, Geiger, and Red Code. That's going to be part of tonight's giveaway when we do the giveaway later on in the day. So be on the lookout for that one. So that's going to be the giveaway. So yeah, man, I got them already. I got the book set. They're ready to go. They're ready to be shipped. So all that good stuff. Now we got back to some Silver Surfer goodness. The infamous brown cover.
The brown cover. The surfing on poo cover, as I like to think.
Yeah, that brown, man. What were they thinking with that brown, man?
It's a choice.
It definitely was one. But this is the classic Silver Surfer cover that was done by Jack Kirby. I always find it weird because whenever I see this cover, my immediate thought is, why didn't you just put it into black with like stars and moon and stuff like that? Like I would love to just hear a story.
That's a very good point. I mean,
right?
Did they have a conversation where they said, you know what? He's usually in space. Let's make it brown.
Yeah, and to be completely honest, brown is an extremely difficult color to print because it's like with other colors, you could kind of like, you got the primaries and you got the secondaries. Brown's not even a secondary color. It's like a tertiary color. And it's like a mashup of all different types of colors. So the printing of this book must have been hell. You know what I'm saying? Ugh.
I mean, it's still quite iconic, though. I mean, as much as I rib it there, it is fun.
Mm-hmm. I agree. It's an iconic cover. I love Johnny Storm just walking with his little green coat. that was interesting. It's like, at last, Johnny Storm.
Yeah,
he goes to school.
Finally, what have I been waiting for? The guy that can fly whilst he's on fire. The thing that I'm intrigued by is him going to school.
Yes, finally.
This is the coat that he was wearing that day.
This is where you got to say to yourself,
what the hell is even that?
You know what I'm saying? But still, we got the ultimate nullifier, the machine, the little contraction that scares Galactus to death. I got this. The 60s were fun. Comics in the 60s were fun. All right, here's another book that as of late, we have been seeing this last couple of weeks. We've been seeing this uptick in Dan Stevens covers, right? This week we got DNA Agents 24, which I will say is one of my favorite covers I've ever seen. Dan Stevens. One thing Dan Stevens knew how to do, he knew how to draw women. he was
why there's a bit of an uptick.
So the uptick has to deal with a documentary that's happening.
Yeah, but that was ages ago. I mean, it's a great documentary.
But I think people are starting to see it now. That's what's happening. Okay. So it's getting into the zeitgeist to the point that now you're getting first names wrong. Oh, I did say Dan. My bad. That's not an enunciation problem. That's a name. It's Dave Stevens. Dan somebody. Dave Stevens, Jesus Popsicle Guy. Oh man, I just loved it. I love it when I mess up words, not names now. Now I just enjoy it. This is joy in me messing
especially
up
when T-Dub comes for you. Yeah,
exactly. It's just joy. I'm having fun now. But but this cover, I saw this book this weekend. And and it was interesting because someone from the community came to DJ's table because DJ was doing the C3 table. And as we were there, the guy comes into the table and he says, I picked this up. And it was this book. So he picked up this book. And so we had to ask him, like, what's going on? He's like, no, he's popular right now. And I'm like, I get that he's popular. He's always really been popular as an artist. Why now?
I mean, that documentary is excellent. If anybody hasn't seen it, you should all look. It's on Amazon, I think. So just Amazon Prime. Get it watched. It's well good.
Yeah, but this is what that cover, man.
That's great. Yeah.
That's great, exaggerated either. That's what I like about it. I'm definitely gonna call the internet provider for this one. They're driving me crazy with this thing.
Yeah.
So what I was saying was that he doesn't over exaggerate on the women like some other people do. And that's what I like about it. Like his women look real. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Well, I'm just saying in comparison to others, right? His seduction of the
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's a crazy expensive book.
Mm-hmm. So good stuff there. Here we go. Back to Geiger. Geiger number 1.
Yep.
That's an exaggerated. Is it? Is it? Like seriously? Is it? It is. It isn't. I wouldn't say that. No, I wouldn't say that. No, I've seen exaggerate. That's just right. Just right. All right. These lips are not in sync. I know, right? It's the internet. I think it's also the fact that Google Chrome is not exactly a good browser for live streams. I'm starting to notice. All right, so we got the first appearance of Geiger. We Geiger number 1. This is the introduction of Junkyard Joe. We have some other stuff. Obviously, Jeff Jones has mentioned that they're in production as well. This is right now a $10 book.
By introduction of Junkyard Joe, what do they mean? Because he isn't in it.
That's what they're saying.
He's on the back page as a cartoon strip, but he's not in the story. So it's not the first appearance of Junkyard Joe. But I'm splitting hairs, I guess. Everybody should have this book because it's awesome. I love it. It's tremendous.
Yeah. And there goes Beckerman. It's like, I was thinking to say, I don't know what's going on with the internet today. The internet's not having fun. All right. Talking about exaggerated women. Evangeline. This is Rob Liefeld at his Rob Liefeld finest. Has gained momentum because Evangeline has now been picked up for an option.
That's right. Yeah.
But it's also been optioned with a producer and a director attached. So this actually has the potential of actually happening more than anything else. And it's not just any names either. We're talking about Olivia Wilde to direct, and we're talking about Margot Robbie as a producer, potentially, possibly in the starring role.
I mean, Margot Robbie can make things happen right now. So if she wants to do it, then I could see it happening for once.
Yeah. And Evangeline's a very interesting character. So she's pretty much a fallen angel, and she does battle, and she utilizes her blood to fight, in a nutshell, which is very interesting.
I'm not familiar at all with the character.
Well, trust me, mostly no one is.
No one is, right?
Because she's definitely one. Maximum Press was one of the companies that Rob Liefeld created because he couldn't be working in Image.
Ah, right. Yeah.
So this was one of those Rob Liefeld spin-off companies that he created during that time. So yeah, so is Spawn. Yeah, but this is as with a woman. And tell me how tall this looking at this image, how tall is Evangelina? She's technically what's her name? Angela.
Yeah.
Evangelina, Angela. It's the same character, isn't it? So
I mean, if we're to believe that she's like in the foreground near that, she's huge. She's huge.
Yes, what's up, Tape Prime? Right? She's 7'3". Look at the length of those legs, man. It's just I'm just saying she's 7. And then the hair. Look at I don't know what's going on. She got a beehive going on up there.
That's a choice.
That is a choice. So we'll see what happens. All right, our next book here is we have we're gonna start seeing some Jim Lee goodness when it comes to X-Men. So X-Men, of course, is very hot right now with X-Men, the animated series, 97 up. We're 4 episodes in. Episode 5 is happening in 2 days. What's your thoughts of X-Men so far? Have you been watching them?
I've seen them all so far. The last episode was only okay, I thought, but it did fit the series really well. Like the Mojo episode in the old series, I didn't like either. So
I always thought Mojo was an extreme character anyway. So
yeah, it's fine. It was a fine episode. As a whole, I've absolutely loved it. It's made me care about X-Men again, which I haven't for ages. So
yeah, same here. For me, I love episode 4 because it was just like, let's just throw an episode in. Let's give Jubilee a story. And what I loved about and of course, you guys know I named my daughter after Jubilation, so I gotta like the episode, right? But what I really enjoyed about that story, was the video game sequence, because they were also tapping. It was very meta in the sense that they were tapping into our love for the X-Men video game that was out there in the arcade game, because that arcade game was extremely hot during its time.
Yeah, that was cool. Yeah.
So it was cool that they did that and they kind of build from there. When I first saw the episode, I was like, why did they make Mojo look thinner? I thought that was like a choice. Instead, it was part of the story, which I thought was fun. Like which is great. Oh, look at that! We got a fact. Is that a fact? And Evangelina was created at a wedding reception.
Intriguing.
I'm curious to see how that happened. If Marvel was smart, they'll wrap up the long as hell Fall of the X-Crap reboot. Yeah, I guess they're trying.
Slowly,
very slowly. They need to release a new game. That'd be cool. I think they could if they really want to. So this book here, all this book is an iconic cover. There's nothing about this book inside that has any significance. The only thing I can say is it's one of Jim Lee's final books in the run. So it might just very well be his final book.
I mean, this might be a controversial take, but I never really cared for this cover. Like, I like Jim Lee a lot, but this one never really did it.
It was just a regular cover. I'm with Marcus.
It's like Wolverine's neck looks a bit funky, and it just feels a bit squished. I don't know.
There's two things. There's 2 things I like about this cover. There's 2 things. The first thing is the way Rogue is looking. Who she's looking at. She has this way that her eyes are looking towards something, right? Is it that she's looking at Gambit? Like, is Gambit doing something behind her? One of those things, right? There's that. And I love the smug look on Jubilee's face. Like, Jubilee's just there like, do I have to take this picture? Meanwhile, Psylocke is just hanging out in the background.
You've thought about this way more than me.
I look at these things. This is a very popular T-shirt as well.
True.
So they sell this as a T-shirt in Target. This is a Target T-shirt of X-Men. Yeah, it's black and white though. So, and yes, I would say I do believe it is the last Jim Lee X-Men. So maybe there's a reason for that. What's going on, Mark? Legion of Comics in the house. All right. Now, here's another popular Jim Lee cover, which is Wolverine 27. Again, another book that's in the same reason as the previous book. It is just an iconic Jim Lee Wolverine.
See, now this one, I fully understand. Like, this one is an amazing cover. That's just dynamic and full of that.
I was just going to say what Mark was going to say right now. This was the cover to the video game.
Yep.
to the T. Everything. They kept everything. They didn't change anything. The only thing they did is they took off the Marvel Comics corner box. That's what they took off.
Yeah.
The corner box, the Lazarus Project, most of the trade stuff. They kept the Wolverine logo, and of course, they kept the color style. And this is Jim Lee doing Wolverine before he was doing X-Men, because that's what this is. This is him doing a cover. One of the ways you know about this is because when you look at the signature, it's not his iconic Jim Lee signature as it used to be. This is where he actually signed Jim Lee on it. So that's kind of like a giver. Yeah, and it was the Sega game. It wasn't a great game. It was a game.
I mean, it was pretty popular.
Yeah,
whether it was good or not.
Yeah. All right. More Fantastic Four goodness with Fantastic Four 49. First full appearance of Galactus. Second for Silver Surfer. You can't get a better cover than this, man.
Oh, it's iconic. This is top level iconic.
This is like you can't get better than this.
Yeah.
This is how you do covers. Right, you got iconic cover where it's there, but it's telling you a story too, which is something that we're missing a lot in modern comics. You miss the storytelling in the cover.
Yeah,
where my favorite comic books is when I look at a cover and the cover is technically a panel inside the comic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, you can't go wrong. And of course, this has a lot to do with Galactus because this is one of the books they tell you to read. So therefore, we are going to get Galactus. So
I never had any doubt that they were going to not do Galactus. Yeah. I don't know why. Maybe that's naive of me, but maybe I thought we couldn't possibly have another Cloud. They definitely are going to do Galactus.
Here's the funny thing about the 90s and the 2000s. The funny thing about the late 90s and the early 2000s was that everything was like, we're going to save it for sequels. We're going to save it for sequels, right? There were certain things that had to happen, like Spider-Man had to fight Green Goblin, or X-Men had to fight Magneto, or something like that, right? But yet when it comes to like the big threats, Spider-Man, you got to wait for Venom. You got to wait for Apocalypse, right? You got to wait for Galactus. And then we find when we get them, they're not what we wanted. Right, because the directors involved, either the director didn't care for the character, like in the case of Spider-Man, Sam Raimi he didn't care about Venom. He honestly did not care.
I think he actively disliked it.
Yeah, it was a force.
Do Venom at all.
It was forced on him, so he was like, "Oh, you want Venom? Here you go." You know what I mean? So it was a little bit of that with Galactus. I don't know what were they thinking there with that mushroom cloud. Apocalypse was another film. You had such an amazing actor playing the role with Oscar Isaac. He was going to be your Apocalypse, and that's what you give us. You give us this guy from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. It was so bad. Ugh, so disappointing. All right, what's up? Where you get that? How you doing, my man? All right, next book here. One of our newer books for this list, and that's Transformers #1. We have finished the first run of Transformers with Daniel Warren Johnson doing double duties. What is duties? Dookie. What is your take on this run of Transformers? This first run?
I love it. I think it's amazing. What Daniel Warren Johnson has done for the Transformers in comic books is a beautiful thing. It's not to say there haven't been good Transformers comics that have, but what he's done is he's brought the cartoon fans, honestly, to the comics, because the comics were very different quite often, and some of them were brilliant and some of them weren't. And this one leans so heavily into the iconic characters from the cartoon series. Like Optimus Prime is that character, and it's a subtle retelling to start with of the story, just slightly different, and it's pitch perfect. Yeah. I'm intrigued that #1's on this list though, just because I mean, it's brilliant, and I'm all for it.
It's I guess people just saw the run, and they said the run they looked at it as like, okay, the drawing side of it's over.
Yeah.
And now it's like, okay, now we'll come back and we want to like collect it, or it's picked up momentum of some kind. So I think it never really lost momentum, to be completely honest. I think it came in hot from the very get-go.
I mean, anything that Daniel Warren Johnson does is worth reading. It's especially if he's writing it. Like, not necessarily if he's doing somebody else's like story, but his writing is tremendous.
All right. Awesome. Alien Worlds #4. Dave Stevens. Here he is again.
It's that Dan Stevens again. Yeah. You gone again? Again, Dave Stevens. Not sure why it's on the list.
Dan Stevens. Dan Stevens is the actor. I just realized who Dan Stevens. That's why I was insane. Dan Stevens. It's the guy who played Legion.
Right.
That's Dan Stevens. This is Dave Stevens.
It is.
Yeah. Oh man.
I always wanted this cover, and I never got around to getting it, and now everybody wants it, so it's really annoying.
It's for the price tag that's here, $50. Obviously, these numbers are a tad askew, but for that price tag, it's still pretty good. I'm getting the message from the Galactic.
But I sort of know that, like, it wasn't that long ago that you could get these books for nothing. Like,
oh yeah, of course. Again, something happened.
Makes you go, oh, why didn't I get it? Right.
But at the same time, now being that we know that when the fandom dies down, right?
Yeah,
these books will be they'll drop down again.
I mean, it's not affordable now. If I found a graded copy that's fairly high grade and not ridiculous, I'd probably go with it because I love that cover. It's great.
Yeah, I must have seen this cover a few times this weekend.
Right,
definitely. A few times. I saw.
In fact, I actually saw it in your video. So
really?
Yeah,
because there's a part where we stop and we look at the pictures. Yeah, and I think I might have been saying Dan Stevens then too. Yeah. The documentary woke people up, man. Definitely,
it's a really good documentary. Everybody needs to see it. I love it.
So here's my question. Why she's not wearing any pants, but she has to have the helmet on?
Well, you don't breathe through your legs.
Yeah, but she's not wearing gloves either.
Well, maybe it's warm.
Maybe. Or maybe she's wearing stockings and they're just,
Maybe it's a giant asthma inhaler. She's got bad asthma rather than...
and that's really for her asthma, not so much for the... okay.
It's possible.
Very possible. All right, here's another one. This is one of Jim Lee's first. I do believe this is Jim Lee's first ongoing issue. So this is two reasons why it's in. Again, there's this momentum for Jim Lee X-Men books. People are picking them up like crazy now. But it also has a lot to do with the Madripoor storyline that's going on right now. Retelling the Madripoor. This story, it's the retelling of this story. So this one's good. $25. I think it's a tad high, to be completely honest. I must have picked this book up for $10 multiple times.
I don't know. It's quite iconic. I can see 25 being realistic for a high grade copy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I've always enjoyed the brown costume more than anything. I love the brown and orange.
Yeah.
Like the yellow's okay, but the brown, man, that costume's just the best. All right. And our final book on this list, I really have no reason to understand why this is here. It's not a sequel. It's not a retail. Oh, it's a sequel to that. Oh, okay. All right.
One of my issues with Key Collector is that they work on percentages.
Yeah.
And if no copies sold the week before and one copy sold last week, then that's 100%. So maybe that's why. Maybe it sold one copy. Right.
Yeah. 100% increase in copies sold this week versus the previous week.
Yeah. And it is
but he's also,
an important book.
according to what Mark is saying, is his appearance in USM Ultimate Spider-Man last book is there, so maybe that's part of the reason. Shaka always does. Shaka's one of those. He's one of those B-list villains. Personally, I always like Shocker. I've always liked Shocker. Something about his look is cool. I like his look, but he's never been a top tier villain. I hope someday somebody will do something with him.
That's part of the beauty of Spider-Man's villains and Batman's villains. You have different tiers of villain.
Yeah,
and they can all be interesting, but
yeah, and he falls under the electromagnetic side of villainy in the Spider-Man's rogue, because it's you're either an animal-based villain or you're gonna be an electromagnetic villain. One of those two. Can't go any further. But what if you're neither? Then you're Craven. You know what I mean? Where you hunt down the animals. So there you have it, guys. Those are your top 20 trending comics over at Key Collector. It was a fun list. I enjoyed this list. Let's get it off here and let's get back to talking about the show. So with that said, I do have something to share with you, and that is this. All right, let's go. Guys, we're taking a little turn from your scheduling normal show, and we're going into wrestling. I've been waiting a long time to talk about wrestling in my show, and now it's time to talk about it, because why not? WWE bought a strike this channel. So
yeah, because now they're owned by TKO. They're really hot on YouTube clips as well.
Don't worry. All I have to do is delete it. So, yes, it's people that are fake. People are fake. Comics is real, and wrestling is real, but people are fake. And this is spoken by a person that reads kiddie books. Okay, overall, you enjoyed it, right? So,
yeah.
What was the match that stole the show for you from the 2-night event?
Oh, it's hard to look past the actual main event, the night 2 main event. It is, although I was really impressed with the Bailey Io Shirai match. Io is a great talent that's sort of a bit, all right, this is going to sound really bit too good for WWE, in so much as like she's not going to do the things that WWE want you to do well, but she does everything else really well. So it's
I think when it comes to Io, I honestly think she's not a WWE person. Like you said, I think she might excel in like an AEW. And the reason being is because, one, she's not a talker.
Yeah.
She has this persona that's kind of like she acts like she's drunk all the time, even to her walk, right? When she does her walk, she's like, and it I don't know, maybe in NXT she was a lot better, but there's something about her that just doesn't stand out. She's phenomenal as wrestler. She's a phenomenal wrestler. I'm not taking anything away from that. As far as the other side of it, in the WWE side, the entertainer side of it, that's where she's lacking, where Asuka pretty much has all that.
But yeah, I mean, that's true. But to play devil's advocate, the reason that match is so good is in part because she is such a good wrestler. So, like, she's never going to be higher than where she was in that match yesterday. Yes. It's just never. Well, I could be wrong. I have been wrong. I am wrong plenty of times. But I just feel like this was her ceiling, and what a great ceiling! Like, to be fair, like that's a wonderful place to be, and she's a wonderful talent. My concern with wrestlers like that is, it's like I know that I'm never going to see her greatest potential get played out, because WWE don't do that. It's not, it's very rare that it happens. So
Yeah, and I agree, and I think one of obviously the reason why Dakota Kai stood in the group so she could be the mouthpiece for them. That's the only real reason why she's still with Damage Control. They needed a mouthpiece.
One thing that struck me, I don't know whether it was SmackDown or not, but one of the announcers said, like, it was probably Graves because Graves is Graves, but that she'd become the de facto leader, even though there's not supposed to be a leader. Yeah, and it just struck me as like, well, what you mean is she's
are you referring to Dakota?
That speaks English,
but she's not.
It's whereas Asuka is by far and away the most successful one of that group and is the best wrestler maybe in the company. So surely she's
and let's be honest, giving Io, not taking away Io's talent, not taking away at all. If it was Asuka versus Charlotte, I'm not Charlotte. What am I saying? Charlotte. Asuka versus Bayley, it probably would have had a higher bill. Because if you think of it from this perspective, she won the Royal Rumble and she was the lesser of all the title matches.
Yes.
You get what I'm saying?
Certainly in the build-up.
Right, in the build-up, right?
Positioning in the card, it's not the ideal place you want to be.
No, you don't want to be the match after the last match.
But still, they managed to get it there and they made it matter. So that's all that really...
They made it matter because people generally love Bayley.
People love Bayley, and they're both very talented.
I will admit, I was a little upset we didn't get the Bayley buddies returning.
Yeah, I sort of wanted that as well, but
I was like, "Come on, give me the little Bayley buddies or something." Maybe
what was there an explanation for Bayley's ring gear?
So during the match, Corey Graves did explain it, and he said that
I tend to tune him out every now.
It was kind of a crappy explanation, to be completely honest. So in the town that she lives in, there's a park that I guess she hanged out in a lot that had a very iconic Egyptian theme around it. That's where it came from, which is, like I said, it's a very poor.
Wow. I mean, that's really reaching for a reason to dress a certain way.
That's as deep as you could get, right?
Wow.
So there was that. So in all fairness, I thought the Becky Rhea match, that was awesome.
I was a little bit disappointed with that because I know they can do better. Yeah. But having said that, I also know, and they said on commentary a lot, Becky was very ill at the time.
Yes,
so
she was ill, and they were dealing with cold weather.
Yeah. I mean, it's a tough situation to be in when you're sick and you're wrestling at the end of the day. And I feel like it never got to that next level, which I know that they're capable of. They're very good.
I bet you we get a rematch.
Oh, for sure.
I bet you that rematch is going to happen, and also, I'm with you.
In my opinion, absolutely the right move, keeping it on Rhea. Rhea is just the best at the moment. She's wonderful.
So what I thought they were doing, they still might go this route. I thought they were going to do a double turn because Rhea is so hot right now that sooner or later you're going to turn her face. She's technically a face already. But she's a face. She's a face in a villain's, outfit.
I think it will come naturally, probably sometime this year. But I wouldn't hotshot it. Like I think it will. The fan momentum will build up so much because she's that good.
She did it.
They'll have to be forced.
So she's becoming face really in the same way Becky turned face, right? Because if you remember when Becky turned on Charlotte. She was meant to go heel, but people loved it. And even when she was in the show with was it with Edge? She was at Edge's thing and she was saying, I didn't hate it, I loved it. People loved it. So I think in Rhea's case, what they would have been able to do, the only way you're gonna get Rhea to turn natural face if someone turns on her, not necessarily the other way around. So she's gonna gain that momentum. I think she's already she's a face already. However, she still has the ties with being a heel, with Dom and things like that.
Well, I mean, to play, technically she'd be a tweener right now because like she is in a heel stable, and she's still getting booed out of the building when she's with Dom, but also every single person loves her.
But that's the same thing with. But that's going to be the same thing with Damien. Damien's the same thing, not to the same extent as Rhea, but Damien's the same thing where he's a heel. He's a heel by title only, where he's especially now where he's going to pull this this cultural inclusions gimmick with his character, being the Puerto Rican champion, which I'm happy for being a Puerto Rican myself. He's coming from my neighborhood too, so that's going to be something that he's going to pull from, which is natural babyface tendencies. The only thing that's going to happen is that the Judgment Day is going to have to disband in some way, but I think they're just way too high. And I think someone like Finn Balor, he's doing some of his greatest heel work right now. So as far as WWE goes,
in WWE, yeah.
His stuff outside is disconnected. It's killing me. I could see it. I see the bars. I'm like, ay, Dios mío. So so I'm really happy for the turnout. I'm very interested to see where they take Dom transition. You know what? I can see that.
Yeah, they certainly don't want to turn Dominic face.
No, it's impossible.
I wouldn't either.
Now, will they turn Carlito heel? I thought they were going to go to a Carlito heel turn.
I mean, maybe, but I mean, it's like I've not watched much of the TV. I've watched like the last 2 or 3 weeks worth.
Yeah.
But does it matter what Carlito does? Like he's not being he's positioned.
He's not relevant.
As a guy in a stable, so
he hasn't been relevant, and that's they haven't utilized Carlito to his fullest potential from when he was extremely hot back in the day. But he was hot.
I mean, but that was a long time ago. He pops it up on SmackDown the other day, and I was like, "Oh yeah, he still works here.
He's still here, right?" It's because that whole stable. But I think he was the one that beat up Dragon Lee. That was like an obvious moment.
Okay.
Yeah, I could see them doing that. And
is Dragon Lee injured, or they just bump him for Andrade because?
I think they wanted something for Andrade, and it was like, oh, we got enough
because Dragon Lee's great, and he's a big name as well.
Yeah,
not the same as Andrade, but
yeah. So with that said, let's go ahead and talk about what's coming out new this week. So with that said, let me get the branding out here because we got to do the branding. And bam. All right, we got 17 books from Marvel. We're going to go quick because I do want to see Raw today. All right, so 17 comic books from Marvel. It is not, this week is, I'm going to say it's going to be a low week for me. There's not a lot of books that I'm fairly interested in. There's only books that I'm going to pick up for spec potential. And there's some books that I'm going to just pick up because I know they're good, that I'm enjoying. From those spec potential books, of course, Edge of Spider-Verse will always fall under spec book. Even though personally, Star Spider, like when are we going to stop making new Spidey characters? When is that going to finally happen?
I don't know.
It's just like, do we need more? Right?
I mean, they're gonna every single time there's an Edge of Spider-Verse.
Yeah. Ultimate X-Men #2. Did you pick up Ultimate X-Men #1?
I didn't, but I have got number 2 ordered just because it's got a new character in it. I figured, I don't want to regret not getting something, and I can always flip it if I want to.
Right.
I plan to read it when it hits the app. I don't think it's on the app yet, so
no.
I'll wait.
It's getting there. It's definitely getting there. I skipped over X-Men 97 issue #2. I see that we got Sabretooth here. That's a character we haven't seen yet in the cartoon, so I'm looking forward to when they finally bring him into the cartoon to see how they're gonna portray him this time. Obviously, in the previous cartoons, he was like very first episode he was in, and they utilized him like a true animal beast that he was in the cartoon. So I'm looking forward to seeing him again return. Speaking of Sabretooth, with the bookend of Sabretooth, the Sabretooth War issue 47 of Wolverine comes out this week. I've been loving it. It is Sabretooth at his best. You know what I mean? Sabretooth at his best is making Wolverine's life a living hell. That's it.
I've not read it, but I have heard it's been quite entertaining.
It is definitely. Sabretooth is making Wolverine nuts. That's what he's doing. He's doing all the bloody things he could possibly do. So it's definitely worth checking out. I'm sure you could pick it up quickly. I see my boy right here. Spidey Powder is in the house. ¿Cómo está mi hermano Jose? All right. And of course, why wouldn't Mark keep pass, right?
I mean,
I'm okay with this becoming a wrestling channel. Gunther. I didn't even mention Gunther. So
see now, I think that actually might be the actual best match of the weekend. Yes. That was very good.
But it was with the wrong wrestler.
Oh, who did you want?
I wanted it to be Gable. Gable worked too hard for it. The whole Sammy thing was a constellation prize for last year. That's how I felt about it.
Well, it's not a consolation prize. They stole the show at the biggest event.
Yeah, they stole it, but that's why it's like, okay, you get this now.
Yeah.
Something
I mean, they want to keep him.
What's up, Ben?
In that high level.
Yeah. So I felt bad for Gabe because I think he deserved it. Now, did you know? Did you know that Gunther made 666 days as champion?
I did. That was awesome. Yeah.
It's like, why don't we put you on day one? And he's like, why? I'm just saying. I'm sure they were loving that one. All right. Amazing Spider-Man 47. We got Chasm returning with Hallows Eve. First of all, that cover is awful.
Isn't it? Amazing Spider-Man seems to have the worst covers for ages.
He's not Spanish. It's just the link for Izzy's books. I mentioned it earlier, Rich. Don't worry. So that's the link right there, guys. If you guys want to see it, go check it out after the show. It's definitely worth checking out. Those books are something. When you see those books, you're like, oh, now I know why I gave these books. So definitely. All right. So Carnage issue number 6. I don't collect Carnage, but I've been loving these covers. This one is by far one of the best covers I've seen with Carnage.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not feeling it?
I mean, it's fine. It's not enough to get me to buy it. That's damn sure. Of these three, the only one I'm getting is Hulk.
The Hulk look?
I like the current Hulk run.
The Fantastic Four cover is pretty good too. Fantastic Four.
It is a lovely cover, that one.
So
yeah,
it can't go wrong there. So Incredible Hulk 11 also is out this week. Also out this week, Invincible Iron Man 17, Miss Marvel Mutant Menace number 2, The Resurrection of Magneto number 4, Symbiont Spider-Man 2099 issue number 2. Those are books coming out this week over in Marvel. We got Weapon X-Men issue number 2. Now, I believe there was an era in the book. So if you pick it, so some of the books have been recalled. So you might want to be on the lookout for that era book because a lot of dealers don't destroy them as they're told to.
Like, I heard that the first What If Aliens was pretty good.
So I've heard
I didn't
too.
Get it, so I sort of feel a bit silly about that. But
I guarantee you'll still be on the shelves.
Yeah, true.
You know what I mean? It's not that kind of a book.
I'm still not going to buy
it. Right, one day, right? When it's on the dollar bin.
Yeah, maybe.
Right. Star Wars Darth Vader 45. That's nice. I'm sure there's plenty of covers for that book. Then you got Star Wars The High Republic issue 6 and Star Wars Throng Alliances. I didn't even put the number. It's issue 4. So there's an era. So it's possible you get a book that won't be worth more than the read. It is what it is, right? So people are going to probably be selling them at a higher price. So now we got Mark's books here with DC Comics 11 titles over in DC. So all right, starting with Batman and Robin issue number 8. But the book, see, I told you. Here we go. So the book that I'm looking forward to picking up, because I thought the first issue was just beautiful to look at, is The Batman First Night. Issue 2 comes out this week, so I'm looking forward to that one. I'm also looking forward to pick up Action Comics number 1064. Green Lantern number 10 is also out. Anything with the DC books that you're...
Batman First Night I'm getting. Mm-hmm. I've got the I think it's the cover C, which is the sort of old-timey,
the pulp.
Like 40s. The pulp one, yeah.
Yeah, the pulp cover, yeah. Same thing.
Yeah. So I'm subbing to that. Action Comics, I don't get the physicals, but I do read.
Yeah.
So I'll check it out when it's on the app. Thanks, man.
So we have those books there. All right. Speed Force issue number 6. Is this the last issue from the story? I think it is. Or there's still more issues. I lost track on Speed Force. I was like, don't care for it as much. Another book I didn't care for as much is Sinister Sons issue number 3. That's out this week. Suicide Squad Dream Team issue number 2. Outsiders issue number 6. Now, I know, there you go. Jeremy Adams is kicking butt with GL. Yes. All right. House of Brainiac begins. Oh, that should be interesting. That must be the Action Comics book, so that should be fun. All right. Then we have Red Hood the Hill, number 3. Batman Dylan Dog, which is a mashup from 2 companies. I forget where Dylan Dog came from, but that's out. And then a kid books, Batman, Robin, and Howard.
I'm definitely rooting for Howard. If he's taking on Batman and Robin.
Yeah, look at that. In soccer. Just saying.
Yeah, we don't call it that here.
Yeah.
It's not. Okay.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. You call it something else, right?
Its actual name, football.
Football. All right. That's it for DC. DC is very light. But I like that. I like it when you have 10 to 12 comic books to choose from. I don't like it like Marvel when you have 25 books to pick from, and I'm like, I don't want to go crazy on that.
I'm fine with it because I won't buy them anyway.
Right, Howard needs our support.
Yeah,
support Howard. All right, Image Comics does have some books to look forward to. Starting with a book that I absolutely need to pick up, not because it's a Spawn book, not because it's a future book. Right, because it's supposed to be set in the future. It's because it is a rat book. So we must get Rat City number 1.
I am also getting Rat City, but it is because it's a Spawn book. I want to see what it's like, and I'll probably bin it when it sucks. But yeah, of those 4, you know it's Transformers.
It's going to be Transformers. St. Mercy's
all day. It's amazing.
St. Mercy Godland is a new book that's coming out this week. The Scorch 28 is also out. So you got some Spawn love going on this week. All right. Also, you got Phantom Road 10, Napalm Lullaby 12, I Hate Fairyland 13, and The Cabinet issue 3. Now, I did find out this week, I've actually found out today that Scotty Young is going to be at Terrific Con.
Cool.
So I'm looking forward to that. Now I'm curious. I'm just interested. What should I take to him? I do have one book that I have in mind that I would like to get him to sign. But out of these books, did nothing really stand out to me. I did read the first few issues of Phantom Road. I was fine with it, and I'm just like,
it didn't. It never really took me, so I just gave up on. Phantom Road.
It was like, okay, they're in the road. The road takes them to a different place. Okay, fine.
I mean, it wasn't all the way bad or anything, but I just didn't do it enough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you're still reading, all right, you still reading? Right? Did it start going somewhere? Yeah, exactly. So if you get me in the first issue, that's great. If you get me in the second issue, I'm happy. By the third issue, if you don't get me, I'm done with you. Yeah, that's how I feel. I think the 3 issues where I stop from there. So that's how I felt about that. All right. Yeah. Rat City is Spawn 2099 or Spawn Beyond or any other movies that's set in the future from a different character.
I don't know. But
yeah,
2099 is the one that sticks in my head. It feels very 2099.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. All right. So from the indie books, you got IDW with 6 titles. Boom Moon Comics has 5 titles. Dynamite has 4. Boom has, I said Boom. I said Blood Moon Comics. I meant Boom Studios has 4. Mad Cave 3 and Dark Horse has 2. It's very light on the indies this week. The indies don't have a lot of books coming out this week, which is fine. Over in IDW.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter because Beneath the Trees is one of those books.
And that cover.
Oh, so cool. I can't wait to read this. I'm there.
That cover is sick. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
So when I saw that cover and I saw that a part of his head is gone and his side is pretty much gone, I just went, "Oh,
are you
man.
reading it?"
I've read the first issue, so I do have.
Okay, so I
do have them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know the story. I know where the story. I have all the books. So I just don't have. Unfortunately, I don't have the bandwidth to read as much as I collect. Unfortunately,
sure.
So what I end up doing, I end up going on a binge sometimes when I read books. Where
I think with Beneath the Trees, it's an interesting one because you reading it 1 issue a month is actually really fun because of the style of the book. But at the same time, I suspect it'll be just as good if you just read it in 1 chunk. So swings around because some books are better if you just read the 1 chunk, and some books it doesn't really matter one way or the other. But this one is very flexible. I think it's a really good read. I love Beneath the Trees.
Mm-hmm. So calling it now, dude. You say that every week. Every time this book is out, he says it's the book of the week.
Yeah, but he's not wrong.
No, I'm not saying he's wrong. I'm just saying.
It's great. And at the same time, Transformers comes out, and I'm like, well, Beneath the Trees. It's difficult, because I love Transformers. I'm probably more excited for Transformers, but Beneath the Trees probably ultimately. I don't know.
But I think when it comes to the comparison of the two, well, first of all, there's no comparison between the two, right? This book is this book is that. When you read a book like Transformers, there's a nostalgic flair to it, right? So you're hyped because you're going to see certain things that you love about it, and it's a take on your characters in a way that's respectable to the past, right? Mm-hmm. But when you read something like Beneath the Trees, you get a story that is taking elements of things you knew or know, right? Yeah. So, for example, Beneath the Trees is very much Richard Scarry meets or Busy Town meets Dexter, right?
Yeah.
These two things should not meet. You know what I mean? That's the concept. It's like we're putting something together that shouldn't be together. And there's an element of intrigue that goes along with it too, right? So I think that's
it is a mystery book. So the way it's been written is so there's a level of intrigue every single book.
Yeah, Horgoff. I think Horgoff's the writer. I believe it is.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
Horgoff. I'm pretty sure Taylor will correct me if I'm wrong. Then you have Earth Divers number 16 that's coming out. My Little Pony, Set Your Sails number 1. For the kids, for all the bronies. And TMNT Best of Alopex. All right, let's see here what he says. Blending tooths. It's legitimately well written. Yeah. Expertly drawn. I agree. Mm-hmm. All right. So those are your IDW. Over at Blood Moon Comics, they have a couple of books coming out. Nothing really out of the ordinary, but it's Valley of the Deaf, Usher of the Deaf, The Land Left Behind, number 1, Haunted House of Love Story, number 5, Hex Pawn, Left Paw of the Devil, and Ice Canyon Monster, number 3.
I'm honestly surprised that Blood Moon have that many comics coming out in one go.
So there's a very good possibility that those books don't come out. So they made the announcement that these books comes out, but until you're at the shop is when you'll find out. All right. Over at Boom Studios, you have a new title called Uncanny Valley.
Uncanny Valley, yes. I'm interested in that.
It
yeah,
looks it looks like it's meshing a lot of different IP into something like, you know, what we would consider IP, because that looks like Yosemite Sam and what appears to be Ryu.
It's a Tony Fleecs book.
Okay, yes, I see his name now.
He was on Between the Lines, and he talked a lot about this, and it's essentially sort of a Roger Rabbit sort of situation where the cartoon characters bleed into real life. So you've got lots of different IPs. They're not the actual IP,
yeah.
But you know, that's the idea. It's like there's like a Ryu-ish character there, and you've got Yosemite Sam-ish character looking there. So it looks interesting. And what I took from the interview particularly was that he seemed a lot more excited about this than anything else. Like, and he had Ferrell coming at the same time and everything. Like, he seemed really excited about it. So I want to give it a go.
It's definitely it's a first issue, so why not, right?
Yeah.
Another book that's pretty excited to see, but it's obviously is a reprint. Jim Henson's Labyrinth, the archive edition. They're releasing that, so I'm curious to see what does that mean for the property, right? Because Labyrinth is an IP. It's a one movie IP. It doesn't have anything else going for it. There's no sequels. There was discussion of a sequel at one time, but being that this is being released is just a sign that something's coming.
I might be wrong about this, and maybe I daydreamed it, but I feel like there was an announcement last year that there will be a movie coming.
I heard about that.
So,
but nothing set in stone. Nothing set in stone.
It will.
It's the same thing as an option, right? It's like we're in discussions.
Well, I mean, like at the end of the day, it's Disney, so they own it. They might as well do something with it. So,
yes, and who doesn't want some Bowie codpiece? I'm just saying.
Oh yeah, well, we all want that.
Come on, that's the whole reason why people went to see that movie. Yep. No Labyrinth sequel, please. You see, that's the funny thing about Labyrinth. There's certain movies I never want to see a sequel. Like, I never want to see them remake Back to the Future. Never. That's perfect as is. I don't want that ever. Labyrinth, I could see being remade, but not so much remade as much more as a continuation with like a new generation or something like that. I could see that. I agree. David Bowie kind of makes that movie, but it's still a Jim Henson production type of thing where, with Jim Henson and those puppets. Jim Henson was always great when it was weird.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And I think Labyrinth is, and Labyrinth is one of those things where it's like that. I didn't really get Dark Crystal. I was never a big fan of Dark Crystal, but my wife loves it. My kids love it. I was never a big fan of it. I understand, not without Bowie, but we can't bring Bowie back. You know what I mean? So maybe there's someone out there that fits the bill as a Bowie. I'm just saying. It's quite possible. But we'll see. House of Slaughter 22 is out this week. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, The Return, issue number 3 is also out from Boom. And over at Dynamite, you got Hercules, number 1. They really are milking these Disney properties over at Dynamite. With Hercules number 1 and Thundercats number 3, which I was a little let down, but I wasn't as let down because it was a Dynamite comic for some reason. When I saw it was Dynamite, I wasn't too excited for it. You know what I mean?
I cannot see me getting Thundercats. I got 1 and 2, like the first 2 issues, but it
it's pretty bad.
It's bad.
Yeah. It's bad, unfortunately.
I'm not like, the thing is, I love that cover, for instance. Like, it's DNA.
Well, it's DNA. Who is going to be a guest tonight at Roscoe's show? So don't miss out on that one. It's a wonderful
drawing, and I want it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't really want to support a book that I know should be better than it is.
I agree. And of course, there's probably like 50,000 covers of it too. Also out for Dynamite, Jennifer's Blood, Battle Diary number 5, and Sweetie Candy Vigilante number 2. Book that I have no idea anything about. Oh, I am
Got lots
working
of
on
covers.
bringing Bowie back. Okay, thanks. Good thing to know that Tape Ryan's working on it. Get
Tremendous.
that. All right. Here's a book that's coming out this week that I'm intrigued by, and that's When the Blood Has Dried from Mad Cave Studios. That one sounds interesting. What does it mean? That's also interesting, so we'll see. Also, Legacy of Violence, issue number 12, and Nottingham, issue 11. That's coming out over Mad Cave.
I feel like Nottingham, like if they had a break or something, I feel like that was ages ago.
Yeah, because
Maybe I'm
11
just
issues, it's not a lot of issues, right?
Yeah.
So, I think they did take a break. Over at Vault, not Vault, Dark Horse first, is a new book from, I was trying to read the name. I think it's Cullen Brown. Monsters Are My Business, and Business is Bloody. Number 1.
Nice.
So that's a cool title. Counting Crowley.
Count Crowley.
Yeah. I said counting, didn't I?
Yeah, you did.
Count.
This is written by Dave DeSmulchen, the actor that's in Suicide Squad and
cool. Yeah.
Dark Knight. He's great, and I really like this series. It's really underrated.
Yeah, and I love this
like
cover.
The 3rd volume at the moment.
This cover is great. I love this cover.
All the covers are like, they're right up my street. Like,
yeah, they definitely have that throwback to you know, the golden age of movies. So these movie poster covers I love movie poster covers. I wish we had more of that today. Now we always have covers with like, oh, we got to show the face of the actor or actors that's in it. I'm like, I could care less. You know, I already know their names on the movie, so isn't that good enough for me? So yeah, enough of that. Volt Comics, Unnatural Order number 4. Of course, Omni Press has Midnight People number 2. So we got some books there, and I think this is the last of the list. Zenescope has Fairy Tale Team-Ups, Robin Hood and Gretel number 1. Okay. Kingspawn has The Crying Boy number 2, so that's interesting. Ahoy Comics has Dead Weights number 1. That's a fun-looking cover. And finally, over at AWA Upshot, Little Black Book number 2. Excuse me. All right, those are the books for this week. Any standouts for you?
Well, Beneath the Trees and Transformers, easily they're the ones that I care about, like actively. The indie books, I do lean indie. So like I'm going to get Count Crowley again, but am I expecting to be blown away by it? Probably not. But you know, I like it. Like, it's all about Transformers and Beneath the Trees. Let's do that.
Well, we also got, you know, last week was a good week for books. So for those of you who didn't get a chance, we did mention earlier today that I am in fact going to give away the books from last week that I was supposed to give away, and that is the Ghost Machine covers. So Rook Exodus number 1, Geiger number 1, and Redcoat. Those are going to be the giveaways for today. If you get a chance and you haven't seen it, go back and watch my King Kong 5 video. Trust me, if you want to have a good smile on your face, you're going to love it. Trust me. Also, if you get a chance, you got a few minutes, go check out the Cleaning and Pressing for Comics. Cleaning and Pressing Comics for me. This is Comic Cats Collectibles video, so go check it out. The link is actually in the chat. I'll make sure it's in the description as well. Wait till you see those books, man. He's doing some really good books. And again, right now, as we speak, Scotty Vaughn is over at his channel. He's talking to Colossal Collector. And then later on, David Nakayama is going to be in between the lines. 22 Comics is going to be at 9 o'clock. Couple Comics is going to be at 10 o'clock. So the Monday night lineup is going to be hot. Don't forget to support Comics Curing Cancer. We had a fantastic time over the weekend with DJ Links. He still has a couple of the posters available. So if you get a chance, go check that out. Heroes Con is going to be phenomenal over in June. I'm looking forward to being there. It'll be my first Heroes Con, so that's really exciting. And again, I just wanted to say thank you to all the channel members. And I think it's time to do the giveaway. What do you say? Should we do it?
I feel like it's about damn time.
It's about damn time. So let's do it. All right, guys, this is your chance to win the 3 connecting covers to Ghost Machine. Of course, why not do hashtag Ghost Machine? So
they are all 3 of them. Like, I know I went through like what my preference was, but they're all right there in how good they are. They're really good. All 3 of them are wonderful.
When you got talent like Brian Hitch, Gary Frank, and Jason Fabok to the helm, how could they not be good? You have guys that are excellent cover artists, but they're also sequential artists, which is what I love.
Yeah. It's magical. They're like, it feels like the start of something really cool.
Yeah.
That's just going to keep going.
And you have an Ivan Reese cover. So,
yeah.
You know, Ivan Reese, you know, he doesn't get as much credit as he probably should be getting, but he's like a modern day George Perez to me. You know what I mean? Where the fact that he could just draw that many characters in a page, that's a special skill.
Yeah.
That is a special skill. Not even good artists can't do that. You know what I mean? So we got 14 from 16 that are watching. Should we run it?
Why not?
Let's do this. And today's winner is gonna be boom. Ryan Riley. Congratulations, Ryan. You get the Ghost Machine pack. I do have your information. I think I might actually still have something that I owe you, so I have to find out. I forget. I usually have to go back to my videos because I have to send them all in a certain time frame. So I got some giveaways. So congrats, Ryan, for winning that. Once we'll send. This is killing me. It's killing me. Killing me. I know. I think I know what it is now. I'm thinking about it. I'm still working on an older laptop, and my computer's now with the manufacturer. That's how bad it's gotten. So once that computer comes in, I won't have this problem. Anyway, guys, DVH, thank you. We definitely have to do this again. We got to do some more wrestling talk because people love the wrestling talk. I do have one more thing here.
Yeah.
Choke slam of a show. And from all of us in the Izzy's Rap Pack, we just want to tell you, DVH and we'll see you at the show. Don't forget to check out all the great videos that are out there as well. And we want to just say,
I think this is it. I think you're about to go home. Okay. Look, thank you.
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 Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I never said thank you.
And you'll never have to.
Thank you. I guess I'll see you.